2021 might have been an iffy year overall for most people, but I still think as a movie year, it was definitely better than 2020 without a doubt. There were more movies that came out, there were better movies that came out in my opinion, and I just got to have a better experience overall. I got to go to the theaters a little bit more. I thought now would be a good time to share my favorite movies of last year. Now look, this is what I ended up enjoying the most, so don't be mad if your favorite movie is not on this list, because I'm sure your list would probably be different than mine. Who knows? Before I start this list, I would like to give some honorable mentions. The Demon Slayer Mugen Train movie, Red Rocket, and Titan. Also, two other things that I would recommend that are not movies are Midnight Mass and the Beatles Get Back documentary. But those were definitely some of my favorite things that I saw last year. But anyway, check those out. But let's go ahead and start on with number 10, Summer of Soul. This is helmed by first-time director Questlove, and it is footage of the 1969 Harlem Cultural Festival, which was the same summer as Woodstock. The festival celebrated African American music and culture, while it also celebrated Black pride and unity. The live performances are really amazing to listen to. The footage itself just looks super clean and it's rendered really well. You can get a sense of excitement and passion from the audience and the performers. Questlove selects and curates incredible moments one after another, and it keeps the pace going and pretty even. There are interviews with audience members and performers. We get to learn a little bit about their history, their experience during that time, and it all leads up to a performance. You let it all sink in and it can give you goosebumps, and it's just so nice to listen to. And even though the documentary is 2 hours, at least to me, it doesn't really feel like Questlove is really trying to cram everything in. Everything is meticulously played out, and that's impressive. Next at number 9 is Licorice Pizza. This is Paul Thomas Anderson's newest movie. It's set in the San Fernando Valley during the 1970s. It follows Alana Kane and Gary Valentine as they go through these almost episodic moments. While that's going on, they're trying to navigate through young love. PTA's writing feels loose compared to anything else that I've seen him do before. And I think that makes it an easier film to watch because it seems it's like more of a hangout movie, and I like those types of movies. The stakes feel low, but PTA is still hitting the emotional notes in the scenes. Alana Haim and Cooper Hoffman are fantastic together on the screen. They both have movie star presence. I also love how PTA is just one of the few directors that can get a bunch of star-studded cast members. No matter how small the role is, even if it's just 2 lines, they're still able to make something special out of it. I also think it's one of the better looking movies I've seen last year. The cinematography and the long takes are really impressive, and then the overexposure of lighting just makes it feel like heaven is like a step away. All the light is beaming through the room. The movie touches on what's appropriate at your age and tries to figure out how to live in the adult world. Alright, so next on the list is a movie called Mass. And this is a fascinating movie that explores 2 pairs of parents 6 years after a mass school shooting. This is a very performance-driven movie, and I'm a huge sucker for those types of movies where it's just very dialogue heavy. And despite it being a heavy topic with emotional performances, it doesn't feel overwhelming. This is one of those movies where the script and the performances come into play with each other perfectly. I think all 4 performances in this movie are incredible, but I think Jason Isaacs and Martha Plimpton are the 2 standouts for me. Those 2 help bring out the remorse and affection that really help the writing shine at times. They're also restrained and explosive when needed. There's really just a huge wave of emotions through the movie. Grief can be difficult to translate into something tangible or coherent, but this movie does a great job of bringing it to life in a way that shows empathy and context from both sides. It can be a heavy watch for some, but I think by the end, you'll be entranced. Number 7 on this list is a documentary called Listening to Kenny G. And this is the most entertaining documentary I have seen all of last year. It's easy to digest and it's very watchable. This documentary is a profile of a complicated figure in music history, a very famous saxophone player named Kenny G. It features interviews from him, fans, and then it also features interviews from critics, historians, jazz experts, and other musicians who view him with apprehension. So that means the movie is exploring why he's a super popular figure in the music industry, and then it also talks about why he is so polarizing. I think that is a really cool concept about art in general that I feel like isn't explored that much. The movie tackles almost every single point on why he's a problematic figure, and they do a great job on explaining it too. I learned in the movie he skipped music theory in college, and as someone who took music theory in college, that frustrates me. One guy even mentions how in multiple songs he's really only playing the same type of notes in his melodies, which is interesting because that means Kenny G is using like some of the same types of scale modes in his songs. And even though I still find Kenny G as a problematic music figure, by the end of the documentary I still appreciated him and I still have respect for the guy as well. They show him play some insanely tough jazz licks, at least I thought they were tough. The movie touches on really how important he is to a lot of people and how important he is to some culture. Kenny G is just a really fascinating person, even outside of music. He's calm and he's sweet and he has more hobbies than just saxophone playing. But he is also high-strung. He is a kind of guy where he needs to know things in advance so he can be prepared for certain moments. It's a movie about what people consider bad and that there's really nothing wrong with liking something that other people hate. So many things in life can hit people differently. It's a fun topic. It's a fun documentary. I'd definitely check it out. There might be a little bit of bias just because I can play saxophone and I've played it for a long time, but even then I still think it's still interesting. Go check it out. Anyway, on to number 6, which is The Mitchells versus the Machines. Alright, if you guys want to see a movie that is full of energy, this is the movie. It has exciting adventures, it's really colorful, it's funny, and the dramatic moments are fleshed out, and the animation is just top notch. Everything in the movie is 3D CG, but it's colored and textured to its peer as if it's hand painted or watercolored. There are also tons of moments that use these little 2D flares and it adds a lot of personality and charm. All of this frenetic energy might seem like it's a lot, but it is genuinely entertaining. The edits, abrupt cuts, and the close-ups maximize the visual gags. Even though it's a kid's movie, there's still a bit of maturity to how it handles the characters' emotions. Every serious moment has all of the breathing room. A lot of the important plot points don't feel forced, it all feels very natural. The characters are likable and the voice cast is solid too. Abby Jacobson is great in this movie. Beck Bennett and Fred Armisen are a delight to watch. Conan O'Brien has a scene in this movie, and it's probably my favorite scene in the movie. Also, Olivia Colman is in the movie, and it is just awesome to see her do something like this again. She is awesome. She is a top-tier actress. And my 5th favorite movie of last year is Bo Burnham's Inside. Now, some people might be saying, Ethan, this is technically not a movie. It's a special. I'm counting it as a movie. Who cares? This is a special that was made during the lockdown of 2020. Burnham is using one single camera and he's filming all of this in one single room, and it shows a new creative side of him. His songs and his skits are about internet satire. There's a deep introspection that lead to discrepancy and confusion about life. And Burnham uses these topics as a way to look deeper into himself as an entertainer and on a personal level. I think it also captures a very specific moment of 2020. It shows aspects of being a creator. This special makes me think, did I use my full creativity during my lockdown? Did I take advantage of it, or was my potential squandered? Well, this special shows Burnham struggling with that. But in my opinion, I think he succeeded at this. I think Burnham already uses lighting creatively on the stage, and I think this is a new level for him as far as creativity goes with it. He does so much more with it. It's very physical with him. It also adds new layers to his songs as well. He has a creative eye for these things, and I think this special really shows that, and that comes into play with his cinematography as well. I feel like his songwriting skills have improved as well. The chord progressions don't feel super typical that you would hear from regular pop songs. One of my favorite songs in the special that uses pieces everything perfectly together is White Woman's Instagram. The use of the projections, the lighting, prop usage, everything is used at a top tier creativity level. But the lyrics are also fascinating to me. The song is obviously commenting about typical Instagram posts that you would see. In the song, he quotes one girl's Instagram caption, and the caption is talking about her dead mother. And then after that happens, he goes back into making fun of Instagram posts. And it's moments like this where Burnham will acknowledge real life and it feels bleak, but then he tries to cover it up with humor. I think it's just a creative project Burnham made. It successfully stuck with people on a creative and a mental aspect. He even makes a point about us just to have an opinion for everything and how we should just take life as it is, let it all sink in, and just shut up. And I totally agree with that. But here I am sharing my opinion, doing the exact opposite. So I'm just going to go ahead and move on to my fourth favorite movie, which is Pig. In Pig, Nicolas Cage plays a truffle hunter who is on the search to find his pig, which was kidnapped. Now, this is a revenge movie, so you would think, based off of previous movies, it would be kind of wild, a little frantic, but it's not. Instead of a movie that focuses on anger, it explores passion being drained by coming to terms with things. The way the movie presents itself can keep you wondering what territory it's heading into. The world itself feels immersive. Nicolas Cage is very stoic in this movie, and it's different from a lot of other things that I've seen him do. I also love the music in this movie. It is probably my favorite score of last year. The story leaves a lot open, which might make some people frustrated. That's one thing I really like about the movie, but not everything needs to be explained in a movie. And in Pig, there's just enough information to make it presentable and intriguing. Next on the list, number 3 is Come On, Come On. Joaquin Phoenix is a documentary audio journalist who has to take care of his nephew while Phoenix's sister is out to take care of her husband, who is dealing with bipolar disorder. Phoenix is incredible in this, and I wish he would do more roles like this. It's completely different from anything else that he's done. That's because he's just playing a regular guy. And I'm sure even that himself was challenging for Phoenix because he normally doesn't play these types of roles. Gabby Hoffman plays Phoenix's sister in the movie, and I thought she was incredible. A lot of her scenes are just her talking on the phone and being alone in a single room. I thought she just did a great job on convincing us that this feels real. Scoot McNairy is in the movie as well. He's not in it a whole lot, but I also thought he was great. The movie never portrays him as a bad guy as he deals with his disorder. There are also scenes where he plays with his son, who's played by Woody Norman. These types of scenes and moments are what make the movie feel authentic and human and real. And honestly, that is just a big accomplishment for this movie. Throughout the movie, Phoenix gets to interview these kids for this project that he's working on. Those were my favorite scenes in the movie because they are 100% authentic. These are not scripted at all. These scenes and the movie overall takes kids seriously. It shows they're complex and still trying to figure things out. They're curious about so much and can have a hard time understanding what they're feeling. It's a movie about emotions and parenting while showing the world from kid and adult perspectives. I love it. I can't recommend it enough. It's very feel good. Stakes are low. My second favorite movie of 2021 is In and of Itself. This movie is probably different from everything else that is in my list. This is a movie that I would recommend to go in blind. Try to know as little as possible. So if you want to go ahead and pause this video, watch the movie and come back, that is totally fine. Alright, well, if you are here, hopefully you watched the movie. If not, let me talk about it a little bit, and I hope what I say will pique your interest. This is a one-man show done by Derek Delgadio. He is a storyteller, and he tries to tell his stories in a unique and interesting way. I know it sounds vague, but I don't want to give a whole lot away for anybody that hasn't seen it still. All of Derek's stories are personal, memorable, and are relatable to some aspects. I am a sucker for these types of movies where it is about life in general and the bigger picture. Frank Oz directed the actual film, and I thought it was important for Oz to show the audience reactions. It helps you feel like a part of the audience and you're going on the journey that they're going. It's also important that Oz filmed multiple shows. So that means when Delgadio is interacting with the audience, well, we get to see different people being involved with those interactions. So that means we get to see different personalities, different ways that the audience gets to react to them. I think that just adds another interesting layer to this. Because if we just got to see one filmed show, well, that one filmed show was different from what other people saw like the day before. I think it adds a new layer to this storytelling that Derek DeGaudio is using. I hope this is a movie that can speak out to people because it certainly did for me. His stories and this show are just about being able to see past a label and looking at a person for who they are on the inside, which I know is super cheesy, but it works for me. I also hope if you watch this or you did watch it, you felt a gift of being seen by another person in some way. It happened to me, even though I wasn't there, I still felt the journey that the audience was going through. If you want to see a creative way on how to film a one-man show, I think this does it. It gives different experiences from people who saw it in person compared to people who are watching it at home. All right. Time for my favorite movie of 2021, West Side Story. Steven Spielberg's remake of the classic movie / musical is flat out one of the best experiences I've had in a theater in a long time. And I'm not talking about Avengers or Spider-Man type of theater experience. When I saw this movie, I felt every energy and effort from the direction, from the cinematography, even from the casting and the ensemble. I felt every step they were taking. There are so many people in this cast that I thought were fantastic. Mike Feist is great. David Alvarez has a lot of charisma. Rachel Zegler is sweet and has an innocent charm, and she also has a beautiful singing voice. Ariana DeBose gave my favorite performance in the entire movie. She honestly steals every scene she's in. And even though Ansel Elgort is a shitty person, and he is definitely the weakest link in the ensemble, I do have to admit, he does have a good singing voice. The songs that are used in the movie are clearly audio recorded, but at least on set, they were definitely singing for real. You can tell by the use of the vibratos. Ansel Elgort and Rachel Zegler are really doing this on set. You can tell by their chins moving. The color grading was super unique. The backgrounds are a little bit desaturated, have a little bit more gray tones to them. But a bunch of other colors like yellow, blue, and red really pop and bring life to the movie. Those colors are an important part to the costume designs and to the lighting as well. I thought it was super unique and super creative that also builds character development as well. The production feels big and the cinematography is amazing as well. And look, I enjoy the original movie, but the problems that I had with the original movie at least feel fixed in this new one. The pacing feels better by changing the order of the songs. There's no brownface in this movie, so that's a big plus. It takes Puerto Ricans seriously, and they get to speak in their native language. There's no subtitles, so it feels more authentic. You don't even really have to understand what they're saying. You can get the context through emotions and what is happening in the scene. They even touch on the identity of being trans, which I think is cool. This is a movie that screams movie magic to me. I was just really impressed with what Spielberg did. All right, well, those are my 10 favorite movies of 2021. If you want to see my entire list, I have a link below, and who knows, maybe the order will change later on. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what your favorite movie was down below, what your least favorite movie was. Make sure you exercise every day, drink your milk, and have a great day.